motherfuckers.
Real talk,
Yes.
no chaser.
So crazy right now. Yes. Yes. So crazy right now. Yes.
Real talk, no chaser.
Tonight I'm joined by none other than Gemini the Gifted.
We gon' take him off the wild side, then into the smooth side.
I think if you let the man go, he can
back
express
into
himself
the
a little
wild side,
better.
then off of the wild side. Right back into the smooth side, then off of the smooth side. Right back into the wild side. Now listen up, everyone, while I hip you to the stem about why I am the funk soul sensation. I'm the gift, the O and E.
Hey, bro.
What's going on?
Yo,
What's going on?
ladies and gentlemen, this is a longtime friend of mine. I think I was in my early 20s, 22, 23. 30 years, Jim. 30 years, bro. Been about 30 years. So let me introduce to you guys. If you are a lover of hip hop, real hip hop, if you're a New Yorker and you are over 42, about 42, 43, this is Gemini the Gifted One.
Gemini the Gifted One.
Yo, wasn't you part of the Brooklyn Kids?
Yes, I am. That was the B-side to the single, produced by none other than the legendary producer Minnesota.
Right.
Produced by the legendary Prince Poe of Organized Confusion.
Right, and who went to school with me at Art and Design.
It's always a circle.
Yes. Me, Farrell, and him went to Art and Design. Ernie New Wave, Kwame. All of us was in the same. Yeah, Kwame went to Art and Design too. All of us were in like a year apart.
I went to Printing on 50th Street where the Deceps kind of blew up. And Maxwell was there. Maxwell went there. I believe Fredro was there. Fredro from Onyx. I don't know if Steve went there, but we had quite a few heads out of there.
Yeah, man. And like a lot of the breakdancers from B Street, who was at school with me, Gnome and Gemini, the graffiti artists from Kraftwerk Kings from Brooklyn, from East New York. Yeah, you go, Brooklyn all day, son.
Absolutely, no doubt.
Yeah, they went to, man, wow, the 80s and 90s was beautiful, bro. Beautiful.
And guess what? It was deadly and beautiful.
You know what? So, I'm glad you on with me, man. So I don't know if you was watching it live before you jumped in, but I just had a situation.
I couldn't really hear you. I'm so technically off.
Okay. All right. So what happened was,
technically,
I like to use some words, bro.
Yes.
So I was coming out of a store, and a couple were coming in.
I heard that part. They walked past you.
No. I was holding the door. Like I literally was holding the door to let them, and so they just walked by me like, I wasn't even there. So I went next door to the gas station, and it started to bother me.
Right.
Like I'm getting to a point, like, all right, so I'm gonna pause that story.
Right.
I'm getting to an age where shit is bothering me.
Right.
So I deal with life differently now. I'm not being old and ornery. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Now, I could do two things. I can complain about it and keep walking, or I can do something productive about it. Now, a lot of people say, what you gonna do that for? It's only gonna annoy you. You're not gonna. But I can't complain about a pot being empty, and then if I have something to pour into it, and don't pour into it, even though I'm only pouring a little bit. Well, you just poured a little bit, and it's gonna evaporate. It's gonna. It doesn't matter.
Right.
The fact that I poured into it.
Right, but I would say it matters what you poured into it.
Okay, and that's right.
You could be pouring toxicity into it, and not
you're absolutely right.
That you are creating an explosive situation, an explosive cocktail. You may not realize it if you're impassioned at the time, and you're just looking for satisfaction, in regard to this passion that you're feeling right now. So it matters what you pour into it.
Indeed, and I'm glad you said that. That's what I'm talking about. Like, I want to have these conversations with men and women
Right.
about things that we should be talking about. Like, I do not understand why we spend so much time on whether we fucking or not, and what we got, what the necessities to be poured in order to get the sex, because that's the
Right.
ultimate end. It's the ultimate
Right.
end. You know what I'm saying? Well, you gotta have money to get my pussy, or you gotta have this to do that. And I'm sitting there saying, man, do lions, bears, and tigers have these problems? No.
Well, even they, even the women in the mammal species are looking for a particular kind of male. They're not
Indeed.
looking for any male. They're looking for the strongest male. They're looking
Exactly.
for the biggest male. So they have a criteria as well. But, I think it's as simple as finding somebody whose criteria you meet.
Exactly. Exactly. And and sidebar, because of the conversation me and you had earlier today, you see where these are culminating from. I find the greatest conversations can become not from gossip and not from bullshit, but from perspective of the situation that, was maybe bothering you. But what did you take from that situation perspective wise, and start looking at the world? So now I look at, I am not here to be walked upon, dismissed, or overlooked as a man.
Right.
Those two situations, let me finish with the door. So I said to the young man, brother, I held the door for y'all, and y'all just walked by me like I wasn't there. And he said, that's not my problem. I could have got the door for myself. Well, nigga, you didn't get the door.
Right.
You didn't get the door for yourself. I held it for you as a courtesy. I didn't have to.
Right.
Because I personally, if I see somebody coming out of a door and they see me coming, and it's usually young people, and they purposely keep it moving, I say to myself, damn, nigga, I was one step away from you. You couldn't have held the door. But it's not everybody's obligation to be courteous. That ain't the third.
Right, absolutely, that's a fact. But me personally, in the world that we're living in, and this may be negative on my side, but it helps me, so I got to rock with it. I expect you to not be courteous. I expect the lesser of you to show up.
Oh man, that's sad that we have to be there.
And I'm always happy and gracious in my acceptance of the fact that if the best of you shows up, but I expect the worst of you so that I'm never disappointed. Chris Rock had a great joke about it, about he always was surprised at niggas who was surprised that the dominant society fucked them over. And he gave this joke about Regis Philbin. He said, if I was on the Regis Philbin show and we were sitting there kicking it and talking, and Regis Philbin pulled out a pencil and started jigging me in my neck, I'd be like, nigga, I should have known. In other words, I should have expected it. I'll be happy if I get the best of you, but I'm not walking through this world in this time expecting the best of people. Not in business, not in finance. I hope to get what I give, but I don't expect it. And that's probably very negative of me to say, but it's the truth. And guess what? I be's right.
No. Well, okay, so that makes me
Because I know it sounds pessimistic.
I react to that. I'm not gonna say that makes me anything. I react to that in a such of that's sad. I'm not saying you're sad. No, it's a sad notion.
Yeah, it absolutely is. But we're living in a very
I get it. I get that
time for a lot of reasons. In general, with people in general, with our people in particular, and the younger of our group of our people, even in more particular circumstances. So, for me, as sad as it is, I recognize it and I acknowledge that you're absolutely right about that. But here's a saying that I hate, but people say it all the time. It is what it is.
It is what it is. But okay, so all right, so watch this. So How old are you now, Jim?
Too old to be talking about it on the goddamn computer.
This nigga here, bro. Listen, you can let it go, okay? But
Yeah.
so think back 50 years
Yes.
to your parents, right?
Yeah.
Your parents,
Yes.
and then your grandparents.
Yeah.
So your grandparents were younger when you were a baby, toddler. Your
Right.
parents were in their 20s, 30s, late in mid 20s. Your grandparents were in their 40s.
Right.
So we're talking 68 to 79. Let's take that years, 68 to 79.
Right.
So the price is right. As the world turns,
Edge of night.
Edge of Night, General Hospital.
Yeah.
We were going to the store to get penny candy.
Yeah.
There was an old lady hanging out every goddamn block, one window, that watched the block.
Right.
They played the numbers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got sent to the store to get a pack of cigarettes, a pack of Cools or something. We could leave our house, me and you, as youngins, 7, 10 years old. We could walk the street. We knew what respect was.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. And if we weren't respectful, an adult checked us.
Absolutely.
And an adult that had weight. I want to say weight because for me, on my block, it was the number runner. It wasn't really the drug dealer, but it was the people that were in the bar because the bar opened early. So they would probably be, in the bar or in and out or whatever the case is. And the people that lived in my building.
Right.
It was the people that lived in my building because they saw me the most.
In the building, definitely.
So now, and I never understood what cohabiting multiply was in its entirety until I got older and moved to a house. And then I said, wow, we cohabitated with different mindsets, different spirits, different energies, different cultures, believe it or not, because there was a Panamanian family in my building. There was a Spanish family in my building. Mexican family in my building, blacks, and I think there was like one or two white people in there, but I can't say, I don't like to use the word white because they could have been German, and that's not really considered white. It's German. Let's put it like that. Caucasian. Okay. So we had these different cultures. We had these different smells, all kinds of food.
Yeah.
We were jumping rope, playing fucking skelsies and fucking tic-tac-toe and, running, all that. We were sponges.
Right.
We were sponges.
Right.
Because the world was a plate, like, that had everything on it. We didn't think about death.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for everybody. But at 10 years old, man, somebody dying did not affect me.
Right.
It didn't.
Right.
I'm 10. I want to watch fucking the Jackie Gleason show or the honeymoon or whatever.
Let me ask you this. What if it was your grandparent or your aunt that you loved that didn't affect you?
I lost people at 10. I will tell you this story from a wake. A wake. I remember it because that apartment was fucking hot as shit. So one of our family members, I can't remember which one, died. So that's the first time, I think like 10, 12, somewhere around there.
Right.
All this food in the kitchen, the silver foil, the pans, the oven's on. Everybody's in the living room. It's fucking hot in this bitch. I can't do nothing. Can't play. I can't, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's sitting around. Now they get the liquor in them.
Right.
Now they get the liquor in them. Now they're talking.
Right.
This is what I remember from a death.
Right.
I only remember the other things. I don't remember the death. The reason I say that is fearlessness in your youth. Fearlessness. The world is yours.
Right.
And all too often, we speed through that shit and get to a point where we have to look back and go, I don't got that much time left.
Right.
Because there's more time behind you than there is ahead of you.
Absolutely.
At a certain point. So, you know, the community of comics, we lost another soldier last week. And, you know, it's just, I've lost a lot of friends. My man Tommy, Martin, just a bunch of other people. And when I sit and think about it, I will admit, I'm scared to go to sleep sometimes. Sometimes I go to sleep and I pray that I get up.
Absolutely.
I pray that no one has to make that phone call, or no one has to tell the world that I'm not here anymore, or you know, they're putting up love and pictures, and that would be great. But I would appreciate it. I would appreciate it more if you think you're gonna love me when I'm dead, show me the love while I'm here.
Right.
Don't put up 1,000 pictures of me when I'm dead if you only put up one when I was alive.
Right. Absolutely.
So death, passing, going back to the essence, whatever you want to call it, returning home, transitioning. You and these goddamn, I love the words. I love the words.
You gave 3 words. I gave 1 word. We made a square. It's all good.
Yeah. As I'm getting older and longer in the tooth, it's important to me. Like, what did I do? All that shit that I did that was bullshit. I can't change it,
Right.
and I can't fix that. But once you acknowledge something, right? Accepting something is one thing. I can accept that you're an asshole and keep it moving. But once I acknowledge it,
atoning for it is a different thing.
That's it. Now, so once I acknowledge that, you know, I did a lot of bullshit, my atoning is, what did I learn? How can I be better? Even though I might not have the more time, how can I do better? How can I do better? How can I be better?
Right.
Because if I only am going to leave that bullshit, my namesake ain't for nothing.
Right.
Because some people don't even consider they're the last of their bloodline. They don't even consider it.
Oh, I have a friend or a family, and that just happened. Like, one of the last of their bloodline just passed away, shot the shit out of him a couple weeks ago. And I'm like, God damn, your grandma passed, your aunt passed, my homie passed, his sister passed, like, just wiped out. So, I mean, right now we're more conscious of the reality of the situation, and the situation is what you said. You got more time ahead of you than you have
behind you.
And if you have a sense of humility about yourself, I'm big on humility. Everybody is big on you. Not that there's not a place for other shit, but if you have a sense of humility, you begin to move different in the time that we have. Yeah, you begin to move different. You begin to think different. You know what I mean? And you ain't got to spend all day, every day trying to, damn, I fucked up this and I fucked up that in my life and I fucked that. But when the occasions arise, when you can do better, you just try to do a little better when the occasions arise. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that way.
And so, you know, with that, you know, all right, so I'm going to be truthful and tell a little bit about our story, me and your story. Okay. Me and Gemini met, how did we meet?
I don't remember.
I don't even remember. It's just like, you was just there one day.
Yeah, exactly.
But we recorded a record together that I was doing over in Europe. We performed a couple of times here. Right. But we just been cool ever, you know, all day, every day. Right. But we had fell out of touch for a long time. Right. Long time. And I think either I saw you on Instagram or you saw me, but I know it was Instagram that reconnected us.
Absolutely.
And then periodically, and I'm talking to the world right now as well as you, but periodically this man would just, AD, what's up? What's going on? I hope you well. Just dropping you a line, thinking about you. Now, it takes real emotional connection. And see, I'm gonna use some feminine words that niggas don't use, but they're not feminine. They are just actual factual words that have meaning. Absolutely. But niggas, men, and I'm gonna call men out. A lot of men do not know how to verbalize their what they're really feeling. With if it doesn't constitute anger or dispute, aggressive, right? Yeah. So this is nowhere near that. Me and you, like, we just always been coolly spool. And you told me the other day that I never knew that I was about to get my ass whooped about 2-3 times because of my mouth and how I came across to you. And only compadres, only partners would be able to say that in a safe place. Right. Because false friends, fake friends, would say it from a negative place. Hey, yo, son, word is born. I would have bust your ass years ago. It would have came from a fucked up place. Right. But it didn't come from a fucked up place when you said it. You were like, yo, man, I remember when. It's like we sitting at the bar drinking Hennessy, and you recall 20 years ago, yo, D, you got fast with the lips, and I felt this at the time because of the situation and who I was and who you were. Right. And I took that and I laughed. I said, thank you. Because for not you telling me who I was, like, I'm trying to put a puzzle together of who I was. Right. And a lot of things mentally are blocked. A lot of things are mentally forgotten. Like, I put it behind me. Me too. So now when someone from my real past, not 2 years ago, nigga, like 25 years ago, nigga, real past tells me, hey, bro, you was a bossy motherfucker back then, or you was reckless. Like, you didn't know you were pushing buttons on people because you didn't take into consideration how they were gonna feel. Yeah. That I promise you this. Yeah. I probably should have got my ass beat back then. I promise you this. Because it would have showed me something quicker. Now, a boss is always a boss because they have boss tendencies. Yeah. You know a boss in the making. You see it. Right. So, but I wasn't the boss of you. I wasn't the boss of anything. But here was where I was. Record, got a little money, on television. I'm doing, you see what I'm saying? I'm not excusing me. No. I'm rationalizing what kind of person would be that way. And here are all the attributes of a narcissist. Here's all the things that would make that happen. Right. And I did think it was all about me. I did. But I was secretly, and I'm going to say this, I never even told you. I was a little secretly in competition with you. Nigga, your video was playing on Video Music Box all the fucking time. Right. And, oh man, it was that fashion show. Now I call it, because we was in a narrow club lounge, and it was long. It wasn't big left or right, but it was long. And you had on that fedora. Okay. And I came through and I'm like, yo, I'm fly too, nigga. Like, that's the Nino Brown. What was this dude's name in the movie? Who?
It was Christopher Williams and Wesley Snipes.
No. What was Nino's partner? What was his name?
In that movie?
Nick Jack.
Yeah, what was it?
And my brother Skeever.
Alan Payne. Alan Payne's character.
Tyler Payne, yeah. So that's that kind of thing. Yeah. And every time I went out with you, you know what I'm saying? But then in the reverse, there were places that we went that I was like that, and nobody was like, who this nigga? Like, you know what I'm saying? But right. I was kind of jealous of your success.
Wow.
I never said that, but I was like, I want to be him. I want my record to do as well as his record.
Wow. Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And never even thinking that maybe you might have wanted to be on TV like I was.
I did want to be on TV like you were, but not in a competitive sense at all. I was happy that you were having the success that you were having. I just I considered you I'm funny with the friend shit.
Right.
You've never seen me like, that's my man, that's my man, that's my man, that's
no,
my man.
never.
Every time you run into me, I got these 3 niggas with me, those 4 niggas. Never. When I was hanging with you, it was just us doing us.
It was just me and you, right.
It was just me and you. And many of those times we was in your world.
This is true, because we was in Harlem. We would be in Harlem when we was hanging. Yes.
We was in Harlem a lot, and I was just like, that's my man Dane. My only thing was, you know, I considered you my friend, and I'm very particular about who I call my friend. And at a certain point, I said, I don't think you value my friendship as much as I value our friendship. And that was my tipping point to growing. It was either I'm going to have to address this shit in a negative way, because the third time it happened, I'm like, I'm not feeling this shit at all. So it's only 2 ways this is going to go.
Right.
And I said, you know what? Was when I learned. I control where I put my energy, what spaces I put it in, how long I put it there, who I let it co-mingle with.
Right.
I began to learn that I dictate that. And when I knew that if I could master that, then a lot of the volatility that I would have dealt with in the street would no longer be there. Because I could just
because you were dealing with some goons. Yeah. You had goons out in Brooklyn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those niggas was fucking.
I think if you let the man go, he could express himself a little better.